as a person whose ancestors were impacted by slavery. So slavery was a colonial system. And what's also embedded in colonialism is white supremacy. So white supremacy exists, and I'm talking about white supremacy as a structure, as a system. So I'm not talking about it as a particular person that might be in an inherent or inherent to that system or structure, but the system of slavery that existed in America for almost 400 years, that was a colonizing system where people were already, so you could go back to, I think, Rachel's example about indigenous people were already here. People came to settle America and they discovered something, but how can you really discover something that already existed? And people lived there. And it was also embedded in colonialism is this kind of empire that's I conquer you, and it's this divine destiny that God has called me to conquer you, and whatever you believe is not of God. So, and colonialism has to make everything that currently exists evil, so that way it believes in this kind of divine destiny of the of its purpose, and it's killed uh, hundreds of thousands of people. It has destroyed. Colonialism has killed hundreds of thousands of people. It has destroyed nations. It has made small groups of people extremely wealthy, but really at a cost of oppressing races of people. And colonialism has existed in America. It also has existed in other places across the world. So when we talk about being post-colonial, um, I think it post-colonial tries to acknowledge what it acknowledges the history of colonization, how it's impacted countries like Africa, how it's impacted countries in the United States, how it specifically impacted African Americans and other people of color. So to be post-colonial doesn't deny the reality of colonialism. It says, though, that uh, we can create a system that is post-colonial. We can move beyond colonialism. We don't have to just inherit this as the normative way for us to live and to be in the body of Christ. And so post-colonial structure, to me, in some ways, it just kind of breathes a wind of fresh air. It comes in and names the impacts of colonialism, but then it also remembers that everybody is created in the image of God, right? And we're all created equal. And so then it just begins to dismantle hierarchies that really are embedded in systems. Just by stating it alone, a part of the hierarchy just begins to crumble, at its foundation. For people who can't even acknowledge the impact of colonialism and how one group benefits from colonialism and another one is harmed, then that's usually one that's still very much so invested in the colonial structure staying as is, so they don't have to wrestle with the oppression that is kind of embedded in it. So I like what Tyler said too around the Lenten journey. Oftentimes, though, in our structure, Lent is a very individual journey. And I think where we meet invites us to look at some of the larger systems that need to be crucified and the resurrection that is needed in some of the systems that we participate in too. So it invites us on an individual journey, but also it invites us to examine some of the systems that we're a part of, and how can our systems also experience some new life. So I hope that's helpful.